Hi guys, Shaz here, ready to talk about Love is Blind Season 6. Today we are going to talk about Jimmy and Chelsea. So grab your golden goblets and let's chat.
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Chelsea.
My dog's name is Chelsea.
No way. And what is your name?
My name is Trevor.
Trevor.
Yeah.
My dog's name's Trevor too.
Who do I got?
Your wife? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my-
Or maybe.
Oh my
My name's
gosh.
Jessica.
Jessica. I'm Jimmy.
My name is Chelsea.
Chelsea. I'm Jimmy.
So quite early on we saw the two love triangles start. The one was Chelsea and Trevor, and then of course her connection with Jimmy, and then Jimmy also had a connection with Jessica. And what was quite interesting was on both sides of that triangle, you had Trevor who was there for Chelsea. He was all in on Chelsea quite early on. And it was quite similar with Jessica. So I think we all sort of had this notion that that's how the couples would end up. Because Chelsea and Trevor, really, they were my favorite couple. And Jessica was just she was there for it. And she shared with Jimmy that she has a 10-year-old daughter.
I have a 10-year-old daughter.
She made it quite clear that this was big for her and sharing it with him was really meaningful. But he took a step back, I think, at that. I think he was quite surprised. And then on the same day, Chelsea told him that she had been married before.
I got married.
And, he didn't really engage her on it initially. And on the other hand, when she told Trevor about it, he was all in. He was kind of, talk to me about it. I totally understand. Of course you have a past. But if that wasn't enough, Chelsea then dropped another bombshell on poor Jimmy.
I don't even know if it's MGK's wife or his girlfriend.
Megan Fox.
Yeah, so the relationships on all sides of this triangle were growing and getting deeper, and the connections were getting better. And it was sort of an open secret. Trevor and Jimmy knew they were both dating Chelsea, and Chelsea and Jessica knew they were both dating Jimmy. But Trevor and Jessica, for their part, were getting really invested. Trevor told Chelsea that he loves her.
Because I love you.
Jessica had a date with Jimmy where she shared a letter with him that she had written at some point to her future husband.
I'm opening it.
I wrote that a couple years ago to my future husband.
And of course, Jimmy does what Jimmy does best. He sort of has no response. He sort of waffles a bit. And you can see Jessica wasn't impressed with that.
I don't know if I can tell you exactly what you want to hear at this point.
She was quite taken aback, I think, and they have a little bit of an argument there.
Gonna be honest with you, I don't like this. Like, at all.
How I feel about you goes without saying.
Can't believe you just said that to me. How I think the way I feel about you goes without saying.
But at the end of it, Jessica had to be the adult.
We should leave it alone for right now.
But after he has that argument with Jessica, he has a date with Chelsea. And Chelsea gave him a gift, and they're getting really deep around the conversation about wanting to be sure about the connections that they have to make the right decisions. And then he tells her that he loves her.
I love you, Chelsea.
And Chelsea's response is to say that she wants to puke. And Chelsea does not say I love you back, and basically says that she's waiting to see who will propose to her. So I kind of feel like whoever proposes first is the lucky guy. She's not really going to make a decision in terms of how she feels. She's going to go on who proposes first. I don't know, what did you guys think about that? Was it just me misinterpreting her words? So Chelsea goes back to the women's quarters and then goes and whispers to Lauder, Jimmy told me he loves me. And Lauder then goes over to Jessica and they have a bit of a whispering now to turn the volume up super high. But tells Jessica, he's not the man for you. He's not your man, you need to leave this and you need to leave the situation. And Jessica's kind of, but how do you know? Why are you saying this? Why are you saying this to me? And do you have proof or did you just overhear something? And you can see she's getting really upset and she starts crying and all the girls sort of come around to comfort her. Again, I don't know. Do you think Lauder did the right thing there? Was it her place to say that to Jessica? I'm not sure. What do you guys think? So the next day, Jimmy meets with Jessica again and she is taking no prisoners. This girl laid into him. She was like, I want direct answers. He'd say something and she'd jump on it.
It's not fair to you.
Why would you say that?
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry? Say that again? Literally spare me of the pity party. Please. At the very least, what you owe me is just 1 single ounce of directness.
I'm going to be an amazing wife for someone else. At this point, I love someone else.
But then he sort of implies that he made his decision about Chelsea after their fight the day before.
Yesterday.
It wasn't until our final date, it ended so terribly.
But I mean, this was my favorite part of the entire argument.
When you see and realize what you missed out on, you are going to choke. You are going to need your EpiPen to open up your airways because you are going to be in disbelief of what you missed out on.
Queen! I love that. I love that so much. Chelsea, on the other hand, is still 50-50 between Trevor and Jimmy. But she goes over and she's in the pod with Jimmy and then this happens.
Chelsea, will you marry me? I want to know if you'll meet me at the altar in your white dress.
I will 1000% marry you.
So Chelsea goes and breaks Trevor's heart and it was just so sad. I was just crying inside with him. And he asks her directly, if I had proposed first, would you have said yes? She can't even answer him. I mean, there's all the proof we need, right? In the end, he's comforting her. And yeah, it was just a mess. But what I'm excited for is the reveal. So we pre-reveal and Jimmy's doing a confessional clip and he calls his fiancée Jessica. He then goes on to say, he hopes he and Chelsea have a physical connection. Of course you do, Mr. Fox. And then the doors open. And Chelsea does this really awkward run towards him. I don't know, that it just looked strange. And he tells her she's gorgeous, but that it didn't matter anyway. And he's wearing our favorite moccasins. I don't know. I need to tell you guys how I feel about this. It felt awkward. Just me? It felt so awkward. It felt forced. I don't think Jimmy was as happy about his choice with Chelsea as he's sort of trying to convince her and us that he is. I mean, she's squealing with delight and she's making all these squashy, kissy noises.
You're so kind.
You're good.
And kept telling him how handsome he is. And he's just doing his same old Jimmy waffle. Not really saying anything back at all. But yeah, I just felt that his face and his expression was saying everything.
To go.
I thought, personal feeling, my opinion, that he was actually disappointed when he saw her? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, please. I'm dying to hear. She does ask him if she is what he was expecting, and we see in the confessional that he basically says, well, she lied to him.
Is it what you expected?
She definitely lied to me on some how she looked.
Anyway, so after an awkward reveal, of course, it's off to the Dominican Republic. And when they get there, Jimmy tells Chelsea that he forgot what she looked like. But that she's gorgeous, but not that looks matter.
I totally forgot what you look like.
Oh God. Do you regret it?
No, you look so pretty. You look great. You're gorgeous. I'm so happy. Not that that would matter, but...
Make him stop, please. He then sort of has this awkward conversation where he accuses her of having run into the women's quarters, telling everybody that he said that he loved her. And that's obviously related to his argument with Jessica, the last interaction he had there. And she sort of explains what happened, and he goes, oh, I believe you. Very convincing, right? He then talks about his last date with Jessica. Now, if I just got engaged and I'm in this beautiful location in the Dominican Republic, it is romantic AF, do I really want to hear about your last conversation with your ex, who you were dating at the same time as me? I don't know. Just me? What do you guys think? Anyway, he does say some interesting things though. He talks about the fact that he didn't like Jessica's attitude on the last day, and he didn't want to, with an attitude like that, he didn't want to talk to her about being his future wife. Really, Chelsea really wants to hear this, I'm sure. And he then told Chelsea that he loves her, but when he told her that, his mind wasn't yet made up, and that he was still wanting to see it through with Jessica, and that he didn't get clarity, which kind of sucks. What the actual, guys? What the actual? Then he says that Jessica brought up her looks and that he would be holding his breath when he finally saw her, and he thought that was weird. Yeah, right. It's probably been bugging him since she said it. I mean, that you guys know that was my favorite part of that argument. Anyway, then he talks about he's so happy with his decision, and we're all so convinced, aren't we? He, of course, has to throw in that looks don't matter, because they clearly do. Anyway, Chelsea is actually feeling okay about all of this. She's in a good place. So later we see them lying in bed. It's obviously their first night together, and Chelsea asks Jimmy what was the first thing he noticed about her at the reveal. And his response was, her teeth.
What's the first thing you noticed about me?
That you had pretty teeth.
Her teeth. Oh, gosh. Anyway, the next day they're chilling on the beach, and Chelsea says that she's quite insecure and she's in a bathing suit, and I guess she's human, right? We all have our insecurities, but it's really starting to come through a little bit, I think. And she's very happy with Jimmy, but asks him, does he have any concerns about his choice? Is he worried about anything? And, is she his typical type? And Jimmy's trying to really just reassure. She asks again, but are you sure you're happy with your choice? Are you sure? Are you 100%? And at this point, I'm getting annoyed. But I guess her insecurities are playing up, but there's only so many times in one conversation you can ask somebody that question, right? Anyway, she does explain that she was cheated on in the past, and I guess that's where it also stems from. But he's really trying to be reassuring, and I really actually in this instance felt that he was being quite sincere with her. But then there is the beach party, and it's the first time all the couples are seeing each other since the pods, and guys are seeing girls and vice versa for the first time that they may have dated while they were in the pods. And drinks are flowing, wine's flowing. The girls are comparing notes about the night before, and obviously they're men. Chelsea shares with the girls that her man is quite well endowed.
Did feel his wiener.
Is it big?
But the girls and the guys are catching up. They're talking about their various relationships. And later we see Jimmy with Chelsea, and he makes some comment about AD.
That woman is absolutely stacked. AD.
Well, Chelsea outs him immediately, tells AD about the comment. AD's really cool about it, and she and Jimmy start having a conversation, and they sort of catching up. Very natural, normal thing to do. Chelsea, though, you could tell was not happy. She looked, I don't know if it was pissed, distraught. She's at the bar. Maybe she's been at the bar too many times. Anyway, she's looking really uneasy.
I feel sick. I don't know. I just feel very uneasy.
And she talks about how she was actually quite jealous about the compliment he gave to AD. And Amy's trying to reassure, but Chelsea is now questioning everything. And at the same time, Jim is actually telling AD how happy he is in his relationship with Chelsea, and that so it was all totally innocent, but yeah, that was quite a moment for Chelsea. At this point, Jimmy's just having a good time, to be honest. But back in their room, Chelsea is asking what's wrong of Jimmy, and Jimmy looks totally confused. I don't blame him at this point. That was a bit strange. And she keeps pushing and saying that he's lying.
Something's wrong.
No, I'm good. I promise.
I think you're lying to me.
She felt that she wasn't getting any attention from him at the party.
When everyone else was like paying attention to their ladies, like I was just standing there like by myself the whole time. It made me feel icky. And I just sat there, like it was so uncomfortable for me. You said hurtful comments. You made me feel uncomfy.
Okay.
So just take it.
Jimmy then says she's treating him unfairly, and she asks him again if he loves her. So there are a few more days in the Dominican Republic. We see them interacting at another beach party. They have some conversations in between, but then it's back to Charlotte and real life. And they move into the place they're going to be staying until they get married. And Chelsea's friends come over for a visit, and Chelsea's super excited to see them. Of course, they've brought wine. I'd also be excited. And they're obviously asking her about the experience. And she talks about Trevor. And she says that Trevor was her number one. So, guys, she was really into him. And again, our theory is proved correct. If she had gone into the pod with Trevor first, I think she would have said yes to him, and I would have been the happiest person ever, but that's not how it happened. Anyway, they then get on to Jimmy, and she talks about the fact that he's not really touchy-feely, and that day he hadn't kissed her at all. Also, she mentions that day Jimmy had seen a picture of Jessica. Interesting, don't you think? So Jimmy eventually finishes with work and comes down, and he's chatting with the friends. It's really a normal kind of interaction. I did think it was funny when Chelsea mentioned that Jimmy has great communication skills. This from Mr. Waffle. Anyway, later Jimmy says, he really loved her friends, and he thinks friends are a reflection of the person. Her friends really liked him. Mentions again that he didn't kiss her at all that day, and it made her feel sad. He's sort of saying, oh, he was working, and he did kiss her in the bathroom though, I think on the cheek or something. She was probably brushing her teeth. So yeah, now we're counting kisses. But he does say he'll work on kissing her more. She then brings up the conversation about Jessica, and it's obviously bugging Chelsea. Jimmy thinks apparently that she looks like a Kardashian. This is obviously after seeing her picture, and Chelsea is scared that he feels like he's made the wrong decision. Tries to convince her that he hasn't and that, you know, he's still 100%. But basically, Chelsea feels like she's giving the relationship a lot of energy, but she doesn't get it back from Jimmy. Guys, this is Jimmy we're talking about. He's never shown a lot of energy and enthusiasm throughout this process. Am I right? Just me again? Anyway, he then says that she's being a little clingy. No, you did not.
You know, I love you to death, and I really do care about you, but truthfully, you've been a little clingy.
So Chelsea takes this about as well as any of us would. You know, she calls him out, says he's rude. They start fighting over how many times he has said that he loves her. Basically, she's saying to him, well, expect a lot less clingy from me from now on. Then we sort of, I think, get to the crux of the matter, because Chelsea thinks he started causing these problems after he saw Jessica's picture. Sure, guys. Anyway, at the end of it, Jimmy packs his bags. He goes to stay at his place and basically leaves Chelsea crying on the couch. But then we have an interesting little insert where we see Jessica and Laura meet up for a catch-up. Laura asks if she's looked Jimmy up on social media, and Jessica said that Jimmy sent her a friend request.
With Jimmy, have you looked him up on social media? Has he looked you up on social media?
Okay, whenever you guys got back, the day after, he sends me a friend request.
But then 8 hours later, he withdrew the request. Jessica didn't do anything with it, but she now knows what he looks like. And it seems she is keen to meet him face to face. She wonders what their chemistry will be like because it's so electric in the pods. And, you know, so they're talking, and Laura sort of talks a bit about her relationship with Jeremy, which we'll hopefully get to in another video before Wednesday. But Jessica goes, we team Jimmy.
He has been forthcoming with all of it, and I don't think he's in the wrong at all.
He's not
It's
done
just-
anything wrong, so we're Team Jimmy at this point.
You were talking about Jeremy, Jessica. What do you mean? In her little confessional, she does admit that, you know, she obviously still has feelings for Jimmy. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. She was totally in love with him, and she still dreams about him. And she's been doing some digging on her own and has discovered that all Jimmy's exes look like her. So Jimmy does have a type. With 18 days to go to the wedding, Jimmy is back at the house and they're all smiley. Chelsea didn't think, you know, that him leaving like that was cool at all. Obviously not. And she still doesn't understand why he called her clingy. But he was annoyed that she kept asking, you know, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And he felt a bit smothered. So Chelsea acknowledges she needs to work on her emotions a little bit, and Jimmy needs to work on his delivery. This is the great communicator we were talking about earlier, remember? He does apologize though and says he really wants to make her happy and work on things, and that he loves her and that he wants a future with her. So they kiss and make up again. We then see Chelsea and Jimmy going to meet two of Jimmy's besties. They're both girls. Oh my god, they seem so cool. I want to be their friend. Please can I share them with Chelsea and Jimmy? Anyway, it goes well. It's a really good interaction. They all seem to like each other, which is awesome. And then we get a preview of what's to come in Wednesday's drop of episodes. Man, it looks insane. So it looks like the other people from the pods are finally going to be there. So Chelsea will get to meet Trevor, and Jessica and Jimmy meet. And Jessica basically tells him that he is still her number one. And we cut to a scene of Chelsea sort of screaming at Jimmy in the bathroom, "You effed her, I know you did." I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Are you as excited as me? But in the meantime, what do you think of this relationship? Do you think Chelsea and Jimmy will actually make it to the altar and actually say I do to each other? dying to hear your thoughts. Please let me know in the comments below. But until then, again, please like, please subscribe, and see you later. Bye.